So many different kinds of stones. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a river down here. We're going to go check it out. Mostly, I think the rocks around here are all going to be basalt because this whole area, all of this is a giant thing of basalt. But I'm hoping, since other rocks are formed within the basalt, that maybe we'll be able to find something fun down by the river. Speaking of rocks being formed by the basalt, actually this is kind of an example of what I believe is called porphyritic lava. Porphyritic is meaning that it has holes in it. Oh, here's a good one right here. It has holes in it from the gas bubbles that would escape. And if it has more holes than lava, it's actually called porphyry. Okay, we're gonna see what this rock actually is. My guess is it's a rock, but like I said, I have no frame of reference for this at all. So yeah, it is some kind of volcanic, probably. Oh, good grief! I don't even know. It's not as hard as agates would be. Maybe rhyolite. But this is going to be one of those hunts where you guys are going to have to tell me what I'm looking at, especially all of you who hunt in Oregon and Washington. This is something that I can't identify just off the top of my head. So, it's kind of a cool rock. It's definitely not something I'm going to keep, but I thought I'd wash it off and show it to you and see if we can identify some of this stuff. As I suspected, most of the stuff along here is volcanic basalt, rhyolite. I don't even know if there's rhyolite in the Columbia Gorge, but there is an awful lot of basalt, so that's what I'm kind of guessing it is. Some of them look like moonstones, like little craters that are all in it. I just think they're pretty neat stones. Not something that I'd want to collect, but still pretty cool. Or look at this one. This is, you can really see the lava in this one. It's just bubbly, bubbly, bubbly. That's cool. I just washed this one off. I'm not sure if you can see, but it is green and hard looking and pretty cool. My guess is maybe a kind of serpentine, although it seems harder than that to me. Like I said, I am so unfamiliar with the rocks around here, I feel like a total noob. But it's pretty, and I think I'm actually going to haul this one home because I really like the color. Well, I am reduced to picking up things on the riverbank that look different from everything else on the riverbank and trying to figure out what they are. And so far, I just picked this one up, and it has this kind of really bubbly, bumpy texture on one side. It has kind of an elephant hide texture on the other side, and it looks like it might have some iron in it. It's got some red. It's quite hard. Very pretty. I don't really know which river this is. The Columbia River is behind me right now, and this river flows into the Columbia. And so we are not too very far from the Columbia River Gorge, far enough that the basalt is no longer in a flat plain above us. It's an awfully, awfully pretty place. I feel so lucky to have just kind of stumbled upon it. This is cool. This is just a teeny little shell that I found on the beach. It's got mud on the inside of it. It's got some skin where the shell used to have some brown stuff on it. This kind of shell I usually expect to see in the ocean. And we are easily 150 miles away from the ocean right now, so there must be types of these shells that live in the rivers. So, cool. This is kind of interesting. This appears to be a type of granite, and there is no granite anywhere to be found for hundreds of miles. So either this was carried along with glaciers or by the river for a very long ways, or it's not really granite and it's something else that I don't know about. That would not be surprising. So correct me if I'm wrong, and this will be a big learning session for me. This is interesting. This is clearly a piece of basalt on the bottom here, but up on the top it has quartzite or something similar, something very hard. Obviously it was trying to form, and then it's got these little bands in it that I'm not sure what they are. Yet again, I don't know. So I've decided as I'm doing this, this is definitely going to be called Rock Hunting Without a Clue, and you're just going to have to tell me what they are. So, once again, any guesses are welcome. My son was just commenting about how different these beaches are than what we're used to, and I realized that we're really kind of spoiled because the Yellowstone has so many different kinds of stones, jaspers and agates and petrified wood. And this one, because it's largely formed from basalt, most of them look gray. However, this piece, which once again looks like it tried to be granite, also looks like it's brecciated and filled with some kind of chalcedony maybe? It's hard to identify from the outside, but I think this could be a really pretty stone to cut. Once again, it's going home with me. So in the vein of looking for things that look different than other things, oh no, I was wrong. It only looks different because it was at a different angle. Look, it's a piece of basalt. If I were at home, a rock like this would never catch my eye because it's just kind of a boring little rock. But it's different from everything else that's around here. It's layered. It appears to have some hardness to it, and so it is just, because it's different from everything else around here, I'm going to pick it up and take it home. Maybe it's something good. That's a sweet little rock. When I first picked this up, it was white, and I thought it was a piece of goose poop. Not that I would pick up goose poop. I actually kicked it first to make sure that it wasn't, but it's kind of an interesting shape. I'll bring it home with me anyway. The sun just came out. The sun hasn't shone at all. Well, the day we got here, it's been shining, and it was shining, and then it's been gray and cloudy ever since, which I guess is pretty normal for this area. But it sure does illuminate the rocks a little bit better. I don't expect it'll last long. I thought I'd better take a picture before, before it goes back under the clouds again. Here's another little piece that, again, is just sort of gray like all the others, but it looks like it's got kind of a spider web of white pattern in it. So I'm going to wash this off in the river and see what it looks like when it's wet. Ooh, that looks kind of pretty. No idea what it is, just a pretty rock. Going home with me. Speaking of pretty rock, I just have to show you these cool pieces of lava. They're just lying around, these big chunks. And this whole area has been volcanized. Huge flows of lava came through and just completely changed the whole landscape. And so now you can find both basalt and lava, just lava chunks, just lying around on the rivers. I found another kind of interesting rock. This one's red with some lighter colors in it. And it appears to have these bumps of chalcedony encased in a red matrix. And I, again, surprise, have no idea what it is, but I like it. I'm going to take it home. I'm hoping that my dad will be able to tell me about some of these because he lives in this area and he's pretty knowledgeable about rocks. So if I manage to identify some of them, I might put it up on the screen so you can know as well. Anyway, that's cool. Ooh, there's yellow in there too. Neat. What have you found so far, Tor?
Well, so basically, actually, I really like this. So this is just another piece of volcanic rock, but it has a really beautiful red and got smoothed out by the river water a great deal. So this one was actually on the river itself. Saw it kind of shining and standing out from the rest of the rocks. A couple like kind of these speckled little pieces, some interesting patterns there, and a very tiny agate.
Oh, it's so cute! Look at how little it is.
Look at that thing.
So I found this big chunk of what I'm going to call serpentine, and I really like it. Might not be. It might be aventurine. It might be olivine. Something green. Something een.
Yeah, I was gonna say it probably has een.
Anyway, look at how pretty that is. I'm going to take this one home. I'm going to slice it. See what it looks like. Tor is discovering how very spoiled we are on the Yellowstone.
It's a little absurd.
I'm beginning to understand why everybody thinks all my finds are so awesome. So don't tell them that if they come to Montana, they'll find lots of awesome stuff too. Well, that's it for the Cottonwood Canyon for now. What a beautiful place. I've never been here before, despite the fact that my folks have lived in Oregon for a long time, 30 years maybe. Anyway, it's a really beautiful place. I learned some about how difficult it is to find rocks when you're not surrounded with a great bounty of them, but it's still a lot of really pretty things. Oregon is a beautiful place, and it has a lot of interesting rocks. I just don't know what I'm looking for, so I'm not very good at finding them. Anyway, this is Kate from KatyDid. Keep on doing. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.